Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. This is actually the post-fight video for Chris Eubank versus Anvi Yildirim. Um, what am I going to say? Yes, and I should have put that first, but also this is also the video for obviously it says Dillian Whyte versus Dominic Breazeale, and why I don't particularly want to see the fight, just because Eddie Hearn said he wants it. I don't want to see the fight, but I'll explain about that fight after. Let's talk about Chris Eubank Jr. versus Anvi, or Chris versus Anvi, whichever you want to say. Well, okay, let's start with the fight. I said in the preview that when you prepare for an opponent, especially in the tournament list. I think the Super 8, Super 6, or Super 8 tournament, the person that's the most versatile, that can make the adjustments, who's got a good trainer in his corner, who's prepared to listen, that's the guy who I think ultimately will win the Super 8 tournament. Person who's able to adjust, who can box, who can slug, who can move, a guy who can do all sorts of things and can be adjustable. Guys who can't adjust their style are going to have struggle in these tournaments. And we saw that of Andre Ward. He showed he can fight on the inside. He can fight on the outside. He can rough it up and brawl if he needs to, and he can box when he needs to, can counter punch when he needs to. And ultimately, that's why he won the tournament. Tonight, you got a perfect example in Yildirim in what happens when you are one-dimensional in your style, not very good one-dimensional in your style, and your style has gaping holes. If people remember the pre-fight, when I talked about the commentary, when I was commentating for the fight, I looked at both guys' body language. I watched the way Yildirim walked into the arena, and he walked into the arena like a hoodlum, and he had all these people around him, and he was walking into the ring like a hoodlum, walking to the arena like a hoodlum, and he didn't have time to talk to. It was hyped up, proper gassed up. I'm like, okay, let me see how Eubank comes into the arena. Eubank comes into the arena very cool, very calm, very calculated. The interview asked him a question. He was very calculated and very cool. That right there is a bad sign. You got a man coming into the ring hyper. But the hype didn't stop there. Then Anvi, when the ring, when his name's being announced now, my man's marching to the ring like he's like a bad man, like he's walking from one end of the school to the other end of the school to find out who's been talking about him behind his back. So this man's coming to the arena, walking to you like a real bad man. Then he's getting in the ring and he's real cocksure and he's looking around to the crowd and looking at you like, oh, I'm a bad man. What are you gonna do about it? Almost like sort of like a street fighter, not a boxer, a street fighter. And I'm watching this guy during the commentary, and I'm telling people in the commentary, watch Anvi here. He's hyped. He's super hyped up. This guy has not got a lot of brains. He's gonna come charging out to Eubank, and if he ain't careful, he's gonna walk onto something. Now, in the pre-fight build-up, I said the Anvi style is one that is going to lead to it being uppercut city, which means that his style, he's gonna walk onto uppercuts. I said that Anvi, when people compared Anvi to Arthur Abraham, I said it was an absolute disgrace to compare him to Arthur Abraham. I said Arthur Abraham's more accurate with his punches. Arthur Abraham fought a better caliber of opposition to Anvi Yildirim, and more to the point, Arthur Abraham's defense is far much more better than than Anvi's. So all these things added up to, I don't know how the hell people, it was this guy was Arthur Abraham. I didn't see part of it. Anyway, and then I saw how Perrybound was able to keep him on the jab and outbox him for most of the time until Anvi was able to get inside. And I said that Perrybound isn't as explosive as Eubank Jr. Perrybound doesn't have the uppercuts that Eubank Jr. has, or the variation of punch output that Eubank Jr. has. So I was perplexed as to how Anvi was going to come into the ring and try and boss Eubank Jr. I thought maybe he might be physically stronger than Eubank. Well, okay, well, we'll see. So anyway, Anvi's walking around the ring like a real bad man. I'm like, okay, all right. And Eubank just standing watching him. Nice and cool and calm, very calm. Out comes the first round. I said, listen, Anvy's going to come out reckless in the first round. And what does he do? He comes charging out the corner in the first round, trying to get to work, and Eubank catches him with a cracking right uppercut, drops him. You would have thought at that point, okay, maybe this is not going to work. Goes back to the corner, comes out with the same crack for round 2, starts getting caught with a right hand, uppercuts, hooks. Eubank's leaning on him, doing basically what he wants. All this time now, Chris Eubank Jr., the whole of his left side is vulnerable. He's using the jab, but pulling it back down by his waist, which is a very bad sign, because when you pull your hand back down by your waist, you're always vulnerable to a counter right hand over the top. Anvy, even if he did have a right hand to throw over the top, he wasn't effective with it. And in round 3, well, you know what? I said in the build-up, I said, if Anvy, if he gets hit in the first round, will he fall to pieces? Because he's given a lot of the cocksure stuff. Cocksure being, I am the man, I am the man. And in round 3, Eubank finished the fight with a beautiful right hand, knocked him out unconscious. So I thought it was a tremendous performance for Eubank Jr. What did he prove to me? He's got power in the super middleweight division. Well, we don't know how good Anvy's chin is, but obviously it didn't pass the test. His chin got checked, and it checked out on him in round 1 and round 3. So those are worrying signs for Anvy. Maybe he's not got a very good chin, or maybe he is weight drained and he's not a super middleweight, but really a light heavyweight. I don't know. Did he make the weight right? I don't know. I don't care at this point, to be honest. He's out of the competition now. Eubank Jr. moves on to George Groves to fight George Groves. I will say this much: if I'm George Groves, I'm looking to use my jab and my right hand. I'm looking George Groves to use the right hand down the pipe against Eubank Jr. The one thing George Groves does do, he does carry power. We'll have to see what he does against Jamie Cox, what Cox's right hand, what Cox's chin is like. If Cox hasn't got a good chin, he'll get blown out of there. But if Cox has a good chin and can box and can hurt Groves, then game on. The guys that beat George Groves, the guys that are durable, guys that have good stamina, guys that can punch, those guys that can take George's best and give back. They're the guys that beat George Groves. And I don't know if Cox can do that. I don't know how good Jamie Cox's chin is, and that's going to be key. Because he hasn't got a good chin, then George is going to catch him and he'll be out of there real quick. So, let's see. Shout out to the people who've been in the room tonight and watching the videos and listen to the commentary. Shout out to you, because you guys have been great. Let's see what people are saying in the room. People asking about the Dillian Whyte versus Dominic Breazeale. I've got another spin on it, and I'll explain in a minute why it's a brilliant matchup. Why not, says Archie Balls. Who else is available that Whyte can fight? 50-50 matchup. Whyte versus Breazeale is the best heavyweight fight coming up out of AJ Pulev and Stavern Wilder 2. Well, okay, fair enough. AJ will bash Pulev easy, and Wilder is Staverner's shit fight made. I know Staverner's your mate, a shit mate. Okay, fair enough. Keep going. He's one guy that I've got regular on the channel. Everybody that I come on the channel is obviously my mate. So I don't know why, because I've got an exclusive with Stavern and he comes onto the channel, it doesn't mean I'm going to be biased. If you listen to my pre-fight interview, pre-fight show, you'll hear that there's not much bias coming from me when it comes to Stavern. If he doesn't come in shape and he doesn't do the things he needs to do, Wilder beats him again. Simple as that. Eubank showed his mental strength. It's easy to be mentally fragile in that atmosphere, underperform. Breazeale and Whyte are about the same level. Now Whyte wins unanimous decision. Whyte's only Breazeale, Molina, Spilka level. That fight should happen. Respect to both fighters. Okay, those are your opinions. Now here's what I've got to say about it. A lot of people are sheep, sheppel, and will just follow what the master says. Nah, I know you're biased. Joking. Yeah, okay. Okay, good. Right. Now, a lot of people talk about if Eddie Hearn says pigs will fly, people will believe pigs will fly. Now, I've been in this business a little longer now, and when Eddie Hearn says something, sometimes I say, all right, it's fine. And sometimes I know the guy's way off the mark. Now, this Dominic Breazeale fight, here's my thinking and my feeling about the Breazeale fight. Dominic Breazeale versus Bermane Stavern was a shit fight, according to a lot of people. Suddenly, Dominic Breazeale versus Dillian Whyte is a great fight. Why? Who has Dillian Whyte beaten of note? Dave Allen, Ian Lewison. Okay, got beat by Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua's the guy that knocked out Dominic Breazeale. Right. So what happens if Whyte beats Breazeale? He beat a guy that Anthony Joshua beat. So what's the answer? People will say that's one of Anthony Joshua's leftovers. Okay. So I'm sorry, and the Chisora fight, I didn't think he beat Chisora personally, but that's neither here nor there. So if somebody can tell me a fight that Dillian Whyte has looked spectacular in, spectacular, not average or just good, or workmanlike performance. If somebody can tell me a fight that Dillian Whyte has looked spectacular in, I want to hear it. It's not who you beat, it's what you're able to do. Well, I think it is about who you beat, because you've got to show, you can only show what you're capable to do by the people you beat. So, okay. Breazeale is a better fighter now. He's a better fighter now. Well, I don't think he's a better fighter. I think he fights the same way he's always fought, which is a gunslinger. You take your chances. He's big and strong, but he fights the same way we fight. He doesn't think about his own defense. Is this the same Dominic Breazeale that just fought Ngannou and got dropped by Ngannou and almost got knocked out by Ngannou? Is that the same thing? I mean, people that jump like Dillian Whyte. People say, well, well, Dillian Whyte should fight ahead of Stavern. Okay, fine. But what has he done to fight for a world title? Dave Allen, Derek Chisora, Pulev beat Derek Chisora. Pulev's fighting Joshua for the world title. Nobody thinks Pulev is great opposition. Joshua beat. So who's the best guy Dillian Whyte has beaten? For everyone to be jumping on the Dillian Whyte stuff. This is what I want to know. I just want to know, because all these people are Dillian Whyte this, Dillian Whyte that. Who's Dillian Whyte beaten? If you're going to use that for Stavern, if you're going to use that for other fighters, then you've got to use it for Dillian Whyte. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about Dillian Whyte, the promoter, or Dillian Whyte the. And I like Dillian Whyte, but I'm going to explain why I don't agree with this fight. Just like I didn't agree with Dillian Whyte fighting Anthony Joshua. When I told you all Dillian Whyte versus Joshua is a no-no because Dillian Whyte was injured, I knew he was injured, and I knew he wasn't in shape going into the Joshua fight. A lot of you were going, yeah, Joshua. Now, Dillian Whyte's now lost the fight to Anthony Joshua. And where's that put him? Now, I'm going to throw a name into the mix. I'm going to throw Amir Mansour into the mix. I'm going to say Dillian Whyte should fight Amir Mansour. I'll tell you why. Because at the moment, Dillian Whyte is just in the footsteps of Anthony Joshua. He's not carving his own legacy. And boxing's about legacy, going your own way, doing your own thing. He went to America and he fought Malcolm Tan. Right? He went to America and fought Malcolm Tan in front of 100 people. Right? But you people are here. So to lose Joshua is bad. No, you see, I'm talking marketing. I'm talking management. I'm talking about giving yourself a chance. I'm not talking about pub fights, and I'm talking about making money and making yourself more marketable. Fighting Dominic Breazeale does not make you more marketable. Fighting Mansour is marketable. Why? Because Mansour's a puncher. He's a southpaw. You know, he brings entertainment. He's well known in American circles. If he were to beat Mansour, then you could say, "Oi, knock Mansour out." If Dillian Whyte knocked Mansour out, that'd be an impressive performance. See what I mean? I think that Mansour is a better opponent. I think you bring something totally different. You know that Mansour has that one-punch knockout power. You know Mansour is tough. You know Mansour's going to come to fight. You know that. But Dominic Breazeale, let's be honest, why he fought Joshua didn't look that great. He didn't look that great. So I think Mansour would be a better fight. Mansour would also be good, but who has he beat if we were playing this game? Who has Mansour beat? Who has Mansour beat? Go on BoxRec and look at who Mansour's beat. Mansour's probably the most deserving guy for a world title shot. You must remember Mansour was about to fight. Mansour got beat by Dominic Breazeale. But wait, Mansour was injured, got his mouth injured. What was he doing to Breazeale? Thank you, so thank you very much. Thank somebody school these people here, please. Somebody school these people, please. Man, if we're gonna talk, pick up your BoxRec and take a look at the guys Mansour's fought and knocked out and beat. Cunningham beat him. Cunningham dropped Tyson Fury. Cunningham's a good boxer. Cunningham's a good boxer. Cunningham's a good fight for Dillian Whyte. I'm talking about Dillian Whyte, and I'm talking about Dillian Whyte building his own legacy. He got KO'd in his loss prior to Breazeale. What are you talking about? Breazeale is very marketable. What's marketable about him? What's marketable about Breazeale? The guy who got knocked out by Anthony Joshua. The answer after Dillian Whyte wins the fight, what are people going to say? That is Joshua's leftovers. So who has Mansour beat? Do you know who Amir Mansour actually is? Do you know who Amir Mansour is? Do you know in the American American market at the moment, Mansour has got a fair heavyweight. He's got one of the highest ratings on TV. I'm talking about as a TV fighter, Mansour brings more to the table than Dominic Breazeale does. That's a fact. I know he bit his own tongue, but fact is he lost to Stavern. When did Mansour lose to Stavern? Okay. Well, okay. Don't okay. Breazeale holds a win over Mansour. Okay. But listen to this. Joshua holds a win over Breazeale. So basically, it is Joshua's leftovers. You're beating her. So Joshua say, all right, so what have you done? You've trained 8-10 weeks, or you fought a guy that I've already beaten. Why do you want to do that? I don't get it. Breazeale had Fight of the Year candidate. Yeah, and he almost got knocked out against Izu. And nobody knows much about Izu. Everyone's Joshua's leftovers. Get out. LOL. What? All right, let me look at his. Okay, who is Dillian Whyte beating on his resume? All right, I'm talking about building a fighter. You're talking about destroying a fighter. This sort of not building a fighter up. Wait. Amir Mansour. Let me look at his resume. Let me look at his track record. Okay. He's lost 2 fights in his career. Ranked number 10 in the world, or in America. Okay. So he's beaten Cap Kaufman. He drew against Washington. He bought Joey. He knocked out Fred Cassie. He got beat on points by Cunningham. He knocked out Kelvin Price. So stopped Malcolm Price. Beat Maurice Harris. Knocked out Jason Gavin. Beat Dominic Quinn. Raymond Uchieng. So, all right. He's been in with much better names than he drew against Gerald Washington. Now, if you look at the records, Travis Kaufman was 31-1. He fought Breazeale was 16-0. He fought Gerald Washington when he was 16-0. He fought Joey. I can't remember pronounce his name again. Fred Cassie was 18-2. I think it's 18-1. Fred Cassie, and he fought Steve Cunningham, who was a decent heavyweight, and he lost to Steve Cunningham. Steve Cunningham, as a heavyweight, lost to Andrew Tabiti. Tarver, he drew against Tarver. He lost to Glaskov, which I thought he beat Glaskov. And Cunningham was a former world champion at cruiserweight. A very good champion at cruiserweight, may I say. If White beats Mansour, people will say, "Why, old man? He beat a dangerous old man." I think it's about building your own legacy. It's not about fighting somebody's leftovers. There's so many other fights he could be involved with. Marketable. Chisora and had some a great fight. Who did Mansour beat? Breazeale is tough. Okay. David Hay, Dominic Breazeale is just standing there like a human punch bag. Thank you very much. White should leave Hearn and sign with Warren. No, he's not. Washington is not as good as Breazeale. He's sparring partner. Rankings don't mean anything. Izu fought a dumb fight. Credit to Breazeale. He takes the risky fights. He understands being an entertainer as opposed to being a belt holder and doesn't try and protect his record. I'd pay to see Dominic Breazeale. I don't rate Dillian Whyte. Okay. You're talking about marketability. Both of these guys have been in with ages. That makes them instantly more marketable. Which elite has Mansour been in with? Mansour is not as sellable. Breazeale beat Mansour. You aren't making sense. Okay. Breazeale was getting his ass whooped until Mansour bit his tongue. That's what happened. He got robbed against Washington and Cunningham in his skillful fighter, and that was a great fight. Thank you, David Graham, for talking the sense in the room. You need to build fighters up, and I just think if you go to the table and you say, "I just beat Dominic Breazeale," so you beat a guy I've already knocked out. I don't think I look at it that way, but people are different. Look, people said that there are people here who will say, listen, let me show you how things are in boxing. People today have forgotten how to build a contender to champion. People have forgotten about that. People think a guy's got 5 fights. For example, look, I tell you how some people think today, and if you listen to them, destroy a lot of fighters. Example, Daniel Dubois, who just got a knockout over AJ Carter. There are some people who are so foolish, who don't understand the art of building a fighter, right? Will stick him in tomorrow and say, right, let's get him in for the British title. You know what? Let's get him in against Anthony Joshua tomorrow. I want to see that fight. The idiots that are like that don't understand the process of building a fighter from being, a pretender to a prospect to a contender to a champion. Number 11, I've seen Ingram. You're one of the best interviewers. Matt, making you look like just a chat. Great work. Thank you very much, number 11. I appreciate that. I'm talking about making your own legacy. Because Eddie Hearn says it's a great fight. Well, hold on. Kubrat Pulev got sparked by Vladimir Klitschko. What makes Pulev Klitschko a great fight? What makes Pulev Joshua a great fight? You tell me. What makes Pulev Joshua a great fight? They're saying people here. Pulev Joshua, what makes that a great fight? I want to explain that to me. Mansour's not even known. Oh my dear me. Oh dear. Pulev is mandatory. Oh, hold on. Wait. Hold on. I know. Yeah, you get it here. Pulev is AJ's mandatory. But hold on, isn't Luis Ortiz AJ's mandatory as well? Talk to me. Isn't Luis Ortiz AJ's mandatory as well? Okay. Deontay Wilder versus Stavern. Isn't Stavern Wilder's mandatory? So it's okay. Just because Eddie likes it, it doesn't mean we all have to hate it, because hate it. LOL. What you on, bro? What? I don't understand. It's his second mandatory. LOL. I don't get what you're saying. That's his second mandatory. LOL. Is it a mandatory or voluntary? A mandatory is mandatory. There's no second mandatory. A mandatory is a mandatory. He's got 2 belts. Ortiz is a cheat. Okay. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Well, you don't have to listen. You can disappear, you know. If you don't like what I'm saying, you can do one. You can disappear. So you've got 2 guys. You've got Ortiz, who's a mandatory. You have Pulev, that's a mandatory. If you're going to talk about marketability, who's more marketable? Kubrat Pulev or Luis Ortiz? Ortiz is a cheat. Well, hold on. Aren't you the same people that were pushing for Ortiz to fight Wilder? Oh, dear. Oh, it's okay if you get stripped by... You know, you guys, again, you know, King Slewer, you're very funny. You're a very funny man. Because when Tyson Fury was due to fight Klitschko, didn't he get stripped immediately for fighting Klitschko in a rematch? Oh, so Pulev's a good fight for Klitschko, is it? Okay. And Dillian Whyte versus Breazeale is a good fight, is it? Okay. Well, I will ask again the question, and nobody's come up with the answer yet, because people wanted Dillian Whyte to fight Wilder for the World Heavyweight Championship. Who's Dillian Whyte fought to fight for the World Heavyweight Championship? Mate, I've asked that question again. King Slender, answer me who Dillian Whyte has fought to deserve a crack at the World Heavyweight Championship. Talk to me. I have no clue. Answer the question, King Slender. Who has Dillian Whyte fought that deserves him a crack at the World Heavyweight Championship? Ian Lewison? Derek Chisora, who gets beat by Pulev? Come on. Okay. AJ versus Pulev isn't the best fight, but it's better than Wilder Stavern 2. You're fighting a guy in Wilder Stavern. Listen to it. A guy who goes 12 rounds with Wilder the first time versus a guy that's guaranteed to get knocked out. You've got a guy in Stavern who hasn't got knocked out versus a guy that has been knocked out. Breazeale has lost all credibility and value as a fighter, especially after the Mansour and AJ fights. There you go. Who has Molina fought to fight for a world title 2 times? Don't ask me. I didn't think Molina was worthy for the first White against Wilder, and I certainly think it was worthy against Molina, against Joshua. But people in this room will back that because Eddie said it. When was White fighting for the heavyweight championship? Oh my God. I'm sorry, mate. You're getting to the point where, and he was dehydrated for the first fight. Thank you very much, Ricky Hakkinen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But yeah, what I'm saying is, and I'll say it again for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th time, marketability wise, building your own legacy. Oh my God. Building your own legacy. Let me just do this. I'm going to do this. It's about building your own legacy at the end of the day. And there are a lot of people here that will talk about things, probably had a drink on a Saturday night, and I understand that. But my point is this. I'm talking about building a legacy, building a contender to a champion. And I think that if you look at someone like Dominic Breazeale, I don't think, for me, that Dominic Breazeale is the right fight for Dillian Whyte. I really don't. I think he needs to be in a fight that people know what Mansour's bringing to the ring, you know, and you could say he got beat, but he's never been knocked out. So it's a great fight there against Breazeale, who has been knocked out. And let's be honest, Breazeale moves in straight lines and doesn't give you much movement. And I just don't rate Dominic Breazeale. I'm sorry, I just don't rate Dominic Breazeale. At least with Mansour, he'll come to fight. He'll come to fight. You know, he will come to fight. I just don't see. And you know, Dominic Breazeale, if you remember rightly, when Dominic Breazeale was going to fight Stavern, he was fighting for the mandatory position. What the hell is he fighting for now? I'd like to know what he's fighting for now. What's his motivation to fight now and beat Dillian Whyte? You know, who is Dillian Whyte beat? I keep saying it over and over and over again. But anyway, you know, people don't listen. People will follow the hype, and that's fine. And then after the fight, they say, "Oh, well, that's a shit fight. I don't know why he fought Breazeale." I don't think it's a good fight. Marketability wise, I don't think Breazeale versus Whyte is a good fight. I think it's a fight, but I think personally, I think that Dillian Whyte needs to be with a promoter that actually has his best interests at heart, and I don't believe that his current promoter has his best interests at heart. In fact, if his promoter is so good, why the hell did he send him to America to go and fight a guy who went and fought for 9 years? Can you justify that, please? Can you justify that? It doesn't make Dillian Whyte look good. If Dillian Whyte is as good as they say he is, what the hell is he fighting a guy that hasn't fought for 9 years in America on an American debut? I don't understand that. I really don't understand that. But people will allow the stuff to be put over their eyes. I don't agree with it. I personally don't agree with it. You should, you know, in my opinion, if you like a fighter and you like you like a fighter and you want your fighter to get to the top, you want to give them varied experiences. You want to give them opportunities to fight in big fights. Do you know what I mean? In big fights, in good fights against guys who are going to bring it. You know that Amir Mansour's going to bring it. He's going to bring it. But hey, I don't know. I don't know what more I can say in the matter. I'm just trying to bring something else to the equation. I just think that, as I said before, and I keep repeating myself now, if Dillian Whyte beats Dominic Breazeale, what's Joshua going to say? Well, you just beat my leftovers. So what? So that kind of puts a Dillian Whyte rematch with Anthony Joshua to one side. I thought a fight against Dillian Whyte versus Marius Vac was a good fight. Why is it Jimmy Miller is fighting Marius Vac? What the hell is that about? When Dillian Whyte was meant to fight Marius Vac, huh? Why didn't Dillian Whyte fight Marius Vac? Why didn't Dillian Whyte fight Jerome Miller? Those are fights. Those are good fights. Jerome Miller's unbeaten. Vac has never been knocked out. Two good fights. Better fights than Dominic Breazeale. Sorry. If he stops Vac, if he knocks Vac out, right? That's a great performance for Dillian Whyte. If he goes and he beats Jerome Miller, a guy who people are rating up highly, I don't rate him highly. I think he's a decent fighter, needs to lose weight. If he beats Jerome Miller, again, that's a good fight. That's a fight in Showtime or something like that. Those are good fights. That's what I'm talking about. What the hell are you fighting Dominic Breazeale for? I'm just talking promotionally and managerially. For me, I'd like to see Dillian Whyte fight those guys, high-profile fighters. We know what Vac can do. We know what Jerome Miller can do. Jerome Miller and Dillian Whyte in the same room talking to one another. That's going to be a fantastic press conference. That's a great press conference right there. Imagine Dillian Whyte and Breazeale in room talking. Come on, man. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I just don't understand. I don't understand it personally. Do you want to see Stavern Walter? Yes, I do. Because after that fight, Wilder would have had his mandatory and we can move on. Yes. So I do want to see that fight. Wait, do you want to see Pulev versus Joshua? And do you think that's pay-per-view worthy? That's the question you should be asking yourself. At least Wilder Stavern isn't pay-per-view. Isn't pay-per-view. You're gonna have to pay to watch Pulev. Pulev. Whyte is elite. Whyte is a spare tire. Whyte would KO. You know what? When people start talking nonsense, they have to leave. Bye. You'll learn quick enough. Yeah, you've got. Yeah, I do keep in mind that he's got a Chisora fight to fall back on. Absolutely. Adam's got the voice of reason. Oh dear. You know, Killzone. I'm sorry, mate. When you start talking about I've got something against Eddie Hearn, I need a clean. And people start talking about I've got problems against Eddie Hearn. Once you've got that mindset and you come in my room and you start talking that crap, you've got to go. Bye. See you later. I'm just not interested in that Eddie Hearn crap. I want to have decent boxing conversations. I don't want to be talking about oh, you don't like it because Eddie Hearn. Once you start telling me about how I don't like something because I don't like Eddie Hearn, that's not a conversation I want to engage in. I think it's a very silly conversation. And anything I say is, you don't like Eddie Hearn. So we don't get any further of a conversation because that's the mindset you've got. And I'm not going to sit down and have a cup of tea about it. So I'll block you and get rid of you. So we move on. Next person. Whyte is number 2. Oh, okay. I want to have a decent conversation. Because VAT can't sell. If VAT can't sell, what the hell is he doing what Jerome Miller then for? That don't make no damn sense. Okay. Eddie will put Whyte in with more bums than Black, the casuals. That's why the second coming that he's the second coming since he's lost to AJ, and they will buy into it. Thank you very much, Mac. Vac is a huge seller, but Breazeale is not. Vac doesn't speak English. Nor does Canelo. What's your point? He had 3 weeks to find an opponent, and Breazeale only one side for a fight. That's rubbish, and I can tell you that's rubbish. Vac is boring. Breazeale is not. LMO. If Whyte beats Breazeale quicker than AJ, he might get the rematch and a title shot straight away. Don't think so. Don't believe that. Eddie Hill will use it to listen. Let me tell you something. There's more chance of Vitaly Klitschko fighting Joshua than Dillian Whyte. Put that in the bank. There's more money made out of Vitaly Klitschko fighting Anthony Joshua than there is Dillian Whyte. Telling you now. I think Hearns is bullshitting Whyte. I think so too. Why is Andrew Ruiz never mentioned? Andrew Ruiz is not mentioned because I spoke to Abel Sanchez and he said that so many people have been talking about Andy Ruiz's weight. It's really got him depressed and got him down. That's what's going on with Andy Ruiz. Oh my God, Stavern to you crazy. What? Yes, Pulev is the mandatory like Stavern. White is fully aware of the score with Hearn. I'm sure he is. Mansour needs a Ruiz or something. Breazeale is marketable. How do you? No. You're still talking about that. 100% not pay-per-view worthy at his current moment. I agree. I like your fight commentary for the Eubank fight. Thank you so much, Jimmy. I heard Joshua controls his pay-per-view shows and decides who's on it and what they get percentage. Like your channel, but out of your element here. Peace out. Good night. See you later. Just showed up. Is the fight happening? I don't know. I brought up Hearn because you keep bringing Hearn up. No, we're having a debate. Why do you have to ban me? LOL. No, I said to you don't come with me with an approach, because it's a very ignorant approach. You're saying to me, you're saying whatever you say is against Eddie Hearn, and I'm not against Eddie Hearn. I'm just saying marketability and looking after the fighter. I couldn't give a damn about the promoter, because the promoter's not paying me, the promoter's not paying you. I'm interested in the fighter and the fighter's welfare and the fighter making as much money as possible. And I don't think that fighting Joshua's leftovers is the way forward. I don't. I think Dillian Whyte needs to carve his own way. He needs to make his own way. I don't think he should be in the WBC rankings. I think he should be going down the WBA rankings. I think he should go down the WBA, right? Get a fight against Lucas Brown. Fight Lucas Brown. Fight Shannon Briggs. Do you know what I mean? Fight Fraser Quendo. Get into the WBA #1 contender. Fight for the WBA #1 and get yourself a world title. And make world title defenses with the WBA title. That's what I think he should do. That's what Dillian Whyte should do. But are they going to do that? Probably not. Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. If Vitali comes back and Vitali says, I want to fight Josh, the fight could happen. Believe me, there's a lot of money in that fight. If Vitali says, I want to fight Joshua, give me an opportunity to fight Joshua. For one fight Vitali Klitschko fights Joshua, you think Dillian Whyte's got any pulling power? Not at all. Not at all. There's more. There's money. Of course, there is. Whyte versus Miller is the best fight. Now we're talking sense. Whyte v Miller is a great fight. Why the hell? Why doesn't Breazeale fight Vac and Miller fight Dillian Whyte? That's how you make matchmaking. That's a good fight. Breazeale fight Vac. Let them fight in America somewhere, wherever the hell they got to fight, and let Dillian Whyte and General Miller fight. That's a good fight. You guys, I'm talking about matchmaking and quality fights. That's a quality fight there. Good channel. Thank you. Appreciate that, John. Your opinion, please. Who do you think won Parker Fury and score? I can't remember how I scored it, but I did have Huey winning the fight. When I was commentating, I had Huey winning the fight, and I said in the commentary at the time, I said the only belt that Parker's winning, the only belt Parker's taken on is his trouser belt. That's how confident I was Huey won the fight. But again, I do appreciate the fact that that I did a lot of Hugh's jabs were missing, but I felt he landed the more telling punches. I think the later in the fight, or around 11, 12, where Parker started pouring it on, he started landing the more eye-catching punches. But earlier on, he was outboxing Parker. Now, I just listen. I don't, like I said before, I get very frustrated because it's when people say to me, you don't like it because you don't like Matchroom. I couldn't give a shit about Matchroom. Matchroom don't pay my bills. So why am I front? Why am I front? Matchroom don't pay my bills. Matchroom not paying for my internet. So why the hell do I have to be promoting Matchroom? If they're doing something good, I'll say yeah, they're doing something good. If they're doing something shit, I say they're doing something shit. It is what it is. But I'm not going to sit here. I'm not paid. I don't know what some of you people are behind the screen are. Some of you people may be getting paid by Matchroom. Some people, you may be on Matchroom cards and getting paid and feel that your job is to defend what Matchroom does. That's not my job. I'm just giving an opinion on the thoughts. So I just said in this particular situation, I don't agree with Whyte versus Breazeale. I just gave you examples. Whyte versus Miller, great fight. Great fight. Great fight. Whyte v Miller is a great fight, but who Miller fought? You say Breazeale hasn't fought anyone. So no, I didn't say Breazeale hasn't fought anybody. I just said Breazeale versus Vac, Whyte versus Miller. That's what I said. The sooner Dubois cracks on and rocks up, the better. That's in my opinion anyway. Oh God! If you think Huey was running, you are delusional. Me thought Huey was running. Did you listen to my commentary, or you just okay? He wasn't running. Huey was very technical style. Unfortunately, he isn't to liking to most people who think you're better fighter if you just come forward all night. I did say that. Moving and jabbing is not running. I agree. Jabbing, some of the jabs weren't landing. IFL defo on the matchroom paper. I don't know. I don't particularly care, to be honest. Yeah, but I'm not. I'm saying, look, if you're expecting me to sit here and sing from the hymn sheet of what a lot of people believe, then no, I'm not going to do that. I've got an opinion. But if you want me to sit here and say, yeah, I think that Pulev and Joshua was a great fight, fantastic fight, and I think that Whyte versus Breazeale is a brilliant matchup, great. And I think Crawler versus, if you want me to say that, forget it. It's not going to happen on this channel. Just not happening. Forget it. There are a lot of channels that will tell you that, but I'm not doing it. Let's see. Eddie ruined Dave Allen fact. Well, I think it's twofold there. Dave only got 9,000 for the Luis Ortiz fight on AJ Molina card. Yeah. You got to remember, I've known Dave Allen for many years, and I had Dave Allen on the channel before he went to Eddie Hearn. You got to remember those things. Frank Warren would relish at the prospect of Dubois in his biggest fights for the money, and the look on Fast Car's face. Yeah, I think that'd be a great fight. In the future, I think Dubois needs to be still handled with kid gloves. He's 19 years old. He should not be let off the leash, but he needs learning fights. Remember Lawrence Okoli, everyone's talking about Lawrence Okoli, next light heavyweight champion of all this garbage, or cruiserweight champion. Stop that stuff. And then he fought a guy who could take his best punch and didn't look so good. So Dubois is a good fighter, but I want to see Dubois in some more. I want to see Dubois fight Sokolowski. That's a good fight. I'd like to see Dubois fight Sexton. That's an interesting fight. I'd like to see Dubois fight Ian Lewison. Good fight. Those are things I want to see him do. Work his way through the rankings. British, Commonwealth, European, world. Let him do it the proper way. Wilder v. Josh is the fight we want. Really? Is it the fight you really want? We'll see. Let's see how Wilder does in his next fight. Would you agree that Eubank stops Groves, then loses to Smith in the final on points? Well, I don't rate Callum Smith. I don't think he fights well under pressure, and he's back against the ropes. If you allow Callum Smith to sit back and use the jab and use that left hook to the body, I think he's great. But once you put the pressure on Callum Smith, I think he cracks under pressure. That's what I think of Callum Smith. And as for Eubank Jr., I think he's a very good fighter, but I don't like the left side of his body. I don't like the way he drops that left hand. I think if I'm training George Groves, I'm saying to George Groves, mate, he is vulnerable down the left hand side. As he drops his left hand, chuck the right hand over the top, follow it in with a left hook. Every time. Oh my God, you're still going on. There's a poll on Twitter, and Mansell got 3%. And listen, let me tell you about polls. If you want to talk about polls, there was a poll that says Amir Khan or what was it, Amir Khan or Marcus Maidana. Yeah, what happened? Marcus Maidana ended up winning that poll when a lot of people want to see Amir Khan fight Mayweather. Don't talk about polls on Twitter, mate. If you really think that a poll on Twitter is going to be the basis of a fight being made, then you really are in la la land, right? Twitter is used as it's free advertisement. That's what it is. Free advertisement to get a fight built, and depending on how people respond is how it happens. Listen, I can throw two names out on Twitter and say a poll between this fighter and that fighter. Don't mean they're going to fight. Vac is not marketable at all. That's why Vac is fighting Breazeale and I was saying Whyte versus Miller. Please listen to what I'm saying. Oh no, God. Oh, yeah. Sexton, great fight, easily made, and for British mate. I love Dubois' footwork, and for a big lad, he looks naturally big, not pumped up, and his jabs are lethal. Yeah, he's a good fighter for sure. Do I like UFC? I think I find UFC far more exciting at this point in time. I have to say than boxing, and that's oh Jesus Christ. I do like I do like you I do like UFC, and I find it very exciting. Even look, even the fight that's coming out against George Pierre and Michael Bisping. I think at the end of the day, I've never seen Michael Bisping fight once, but I just saw the advertisement for it, and just the way they advertise fights and the way they promote fights, and everyone's a winner on UFC, even if they, it's not doom and gloom. You haven't got Adam Smith in UFC going, well, this is his last fight, his last hurrah. What will happen if he loses this fight? Even if a guy loses in UFC, they can always come back next month and fight again. They've always got a chance. They can always have the dream. So, I like the best fight, the best in UFC consistently, and I do like UFC. I've got to say, I do like it. Probably won't watch any UFC tonight though. I'm going to go and play some Football Manager. Oh dear, do me a favor, Imran. Do me a favor and go and find out the television ratings for Amir Mansour, and then the television ratings for Dominic Breazeale. Or do yourself a favor, listen to the Amir Mansour interview. Find it yourself there. Do you think Tyson Fury makes a comeback? He'll never be the same fighter again, ever, period. Even if he does come back, he'll never be the same fighter again. Who have you got, Wilder or Vitali? Oh, Vitali. Depends how much Vitali's got left, to be honest. But if he's anywhere near the Vitali I remember, then Vitali's a very bad man. Um, Alan Smith tonight actually said Conor Benn's opponent had great preparation time, 2.5 weeks. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if Tyson would eat Vitali alive. I don't agree with that. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know about that bit. I'm not sure about that. I think, you know, Crawford v Spence, who wins? Well, remember, I know Crawford from back in the day. I think I'm one of the few, I'm the only one who's got the longest interview with Terence Crawford. So I know about Terence Crawford, and great boxing brain. I remember when he went and fought Prescott at a higher weight and did well there. I don't think Crawford beats Spence at all. Crawford doesn't like getting hit. Crawford doesn't beat Spence. Spence is a different kettle of fish altogether. Oh dear. I like Mansour. I heard his interview with you, but like I said, if White beats him, he gets no credit. People will say he beat an old man on his way out. Okay, then I'll say then if White beats Breazeale, he got knocked out already by Anthony Joshua. And your point, he was getting his ass whooped by Mansour. And your point. That don't make no sense. Why should White fight Wilder at O2? That didn't make no sense. Thank you very much, Nightbot. Spence v Thurman, who wins? Spence. Josh is the top guy though. I don't know. He beat a guy. Listen. He did well against Klitschko, but the man who beat Klitschko was Tyson Fury, and nobody gave him the credit he deserved for that. Thank you, Captain Bullshit. Man's always more dangerous than Breazeale. Yeah. God. You know, most AJ fans are casuals. Listen, Vladimir Klitschko spent 2 years on his ass, sitting his ass before for AJ, and it was a brilliant performance. Yeah, and at that time, remember, Tyson Fury being an old man when Klitschko got beat by Tyson, he was an old man. 2 years later, 2 years inactive, comes back, puts Joshua on his ass, and Joshua goes life and death with Klitschko, and everyone says that's a fantastic performance, and that makes him pound for pound #1. Come on, man. Come on, man. Stop it. Everyone loses to AJ. Whyte would get more recognition for stopping Breazeale. It's a common chaos that AJ shares. Ah, okay. Right. Frank Bruno knocked out Jose Ribalta. Mike Tyson knocked out Jose Ribalta. Does that mean that when Frank Bruno fought Mike Tyson in a rematch, he was going to beat Mike Tyson? What sort of crap is that? Loma versus Rigondeaux. What do you reckon? Apologies if you've already commented on it. Hey, listen, Lomachenko is the bigger man, but is he the better man? He's the bigger man, but is he the better man? That's the question. Garcia versus Crawford. Who wins? Dream fight. Which Garcia? I know Danny Garcia versus Crawford. Danny Garcia won 2 fights to 1, I believe, in the amateurs. Weed degree. Did I see the Eubank Yildirim fight? I didn't only just see it, I commentated live on it. Check the channel out for that. Joshua had only had 19 fights. Vlad don't lose twice in an hour. It's called Styles Boxing 101. Okay. Mikey, Wilder, LOL. Joshua had 18 fights, correction. It took Vlad 36 fights to get a ranked guy. Couple of fights. Couple of questions. Go ahead, Ayo. Thoughts versus Groves. Like I said, I think this fight is interesting. Eubank Jr. showed me tonight once again that although he's got a good jab, he's got a very bad habit of bringing his hand back down by his waist. If I'm George Groves, I feint, I let Eubank throw his jab, and as he throws his jab, I snap back, I call back, and I throw my right hand, followed him with a left hook. I think Groves has got to use that right hand, and he's got to pick the right hand from the Eubank jab and go to work then, because Eubank's always dropping that left hand. That's a key there, I think, for Groves. I really do. I think he's got to go after Eubank's low slung left hand. What is your dream fight? My dream fight. Oh, my dream fight. You think? Dream fight. Dream fight. Shit. I don't know about a dream fight, but fights I'd like to see. I'd like to see Golovkin versus Andrade. I'd like to see that fight. I'd like to see Usyk versus Gassiev or Breedis. I think there's good fights there. I'd like to see Usyk move up to the heavyweight division. I'd like to see Eubank versus Golovkin, or Eubank versus what's the guy's name? Canelo. I'd like to see in those 2 fights. I'd like to see Billy Joe Saunders fight a real world ranked fight, whether it be Canelo. I'd actually like to see Billy Joe Saunders versus David Lemieux. I'd like to see that fight actually. Thurman v Spence. Yeah, I'd like to see that. I like Spence versus Peterson. I think that's a brilliant fight. I'd like to see Amir Khan versus the guy from India. What's his name? Singh. I'd like to see that fight, but because of the weight disparity, we won't see that happen. I'd like to see Carson Jones get a world title fight. I like Carson Jones. I'd like to see him get into a world title fight. I'd like to see Carson Jones versus Horde. That's a fight I'd like to see. I'd like to see Bradley Skeet get a world title shot. No, I don't want to see Parker versus Wilder. Flanagan versus Linares. No, I definitely don't want to see that fight. Linares versus Mikey Garcia. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see Mikey Garcia versus is it Lomachenko? I'd like to see Mikey Garcia versus Lomachenko. That's what I'd like to see. What if Shavers fought Mansour or Foreman in the 70s? I would like to see George Foreman fight Sonny Liston. The Battle of the Bad Men. Henry Cooper versus what's his name? What's the guy's name? Joe Frazier. Ali versus Sugar Ray Robinson. I mean, when Sugar Ray Robinson was moving up to light heavyweight and he got dehydrated in the sun, that would have been a great fight. I'd love to just see how they would have panned out. Andrew Ruiz versus someone. Who free? I'm not going to say that. Adonis Steven has a Adonis Steven's got a good fight. What are my thoughts on Parker Fury fight? Listen to my commentary. Briggs knocks Fury out. Ben Stokes versus Jeffrey Boycott. I like that one. Rio Ferdinand not getting in the ring and boxing. Well, it would be nice to see Rio Ferdinand versus Curtis Woodhouse. That'd be good to watch. Rio Ferdinand versus Freddie Flintoff. That'd be a good fight. Sonny Liston versus George Foreman. I think that's a great fight. I'd like to see Roy Jones Jr. versus Sugar Ray Robinson, just for hand speed. Hagler against Roy Jones. Leonard versus Roy Jones. Hearns versus Gerald McLennan, the G-Man. Hearns versus Julian Jackson. Oh, man. Hearns versus Julian Jackson. Foreman crushes who? Remember, Foreman got knocked down by Ron Lyle and got knocked up by Jimmy Young. So, you know, Foreman was a very good fighter, but Froch versus Kawasaki, that'd be nice. Do you see why they're making a pre-threat to AJ? I don't understand that. Can you explain that? Jackson versus Hagler, that's good. Is it Billy Johnson versus Muir the same thing as Whyte versus Breazeale? Former GG opponent and former AJ opponent. Well, I like the fight because Billy Joe Saunders again is moving into fighting. Yeah, he's a former GGG opponent. I agree. Who else would you put Billy Joe Saunders in at this moment, if not Canelo or GGG? Mayweather's opponent Whitaker? No, I don't see that. I don't see that. I'd like to watch Pernell Whitaker versus Oscar De La Hoya again, and Oscar De La Hoya versus Mayweather again. I just love the whole of that bill. That was quite funny. Campbell will probably fight Crawler. What did I tell you guys about Crawler, by the way? Did I tell you a lot of stuff about Crawler? Not Crawler, Campbell. That he's a very good fighter. And all now people say, oh, Campbell's a good fighter. I told everyone Campbell's a good fighter, and he did well against Linares. Joshua versus Breazeale. No, I don't see that. Oh, it was meant to say, does Wilder have enough to threat to AJ? Well, the thing is, Joshua has somewhat of a jab. Wilder doesn't seem to know how to block a jab. Yeah, I think it's a decent fight. I don't know how the fight pans out, to be honest. I missed the Eggy fight. I know he lost. Did he put up a good fight or did he get battered? I don't know. Campbell will fight him and eliminated probably. Okay. Hey, I got to end this because I got my football manager to play. I got to finish off my season. Egerton looked tired and drained. Maybe he was lost weight, or maybe I don't know. I'm sorry to hear that. Right, I'm gonna bring it into the show because I got to finish my my football manager game, and I've still got to go live on it. I'd like to see these Eddie Hearns next gens in tougher fights, Okoli, Bennett, etc. Well, yeah, I think they might just because Mike Gosso is probably moving up to 140. Okay. Egerton's European at best. I'm sorry. So, right, I'm out of here. Thank you all for listening in. I appreciate it, you all. Don't forget to hit rate, subscribe, leave your comments, and all the rest of it. Share the videos, tell people about it. Check out the interview I did with this gentleman's name again, Glazer. Check that interview out. The Campbell Crawler presser would be explosive, pure beef, pure snogging. Oh dear, I like Luke Campbell. I like him a lot, and his stock has risen since he fought Linares. Good fighter. Right, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go and play go on the gaming channel, finish off my footballing season with my squad. I'm out. Take care.